I love Judy Garland. The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time. All of the little people, there hadn't really been films for them. They'd only seen each other traditionally in freak shows and things like that. That's where they got jobs. I'm saying in terms of like there wasn't like Little Trains or whatever. I mean, like, it was just like a train movie.
What?
Like a train movie with little people.
Okay.
Like Little Mermaid was just like was just little people as the Little Mermaid.
See now I want to see
this movie. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Kite Club podcast with Jonathan Kite. With me, as always, is my best friend, Mr. Seth Shapiro.
What's going on, everybody?
We got Ben and Emmy in the booth. Thank you so much for joining us again. First rule of Kite Club is tell everybody about Kite Club. Second rule of Kite Club is tell everybody about Kite Club. Third rule, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave us a review. Tell your friends. It helps us out. Thank you so much for all your positive feedback and comments. We really appreciate it. And thank you for the negative feedback and comments. They help us in the algorithm. I'm going to be at the Hollywood Improv June 10th, which will be this Saturday after this drops. I'll also be there June 15th. And I'm going to be in Tempe at the Improv June 29th through July 2nd. So go to jonathenkitecomedy.com for all the up-to-date info and where I'm going to be at. So let's get into it. What's going on? How you feeling, bud?
I'm feeling good, man.
Good, dude.
Life is good. Can't complain.
We saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Whew.
And it's a little bit of a brain melt. I wasn't on drugs, but I can imagine if I were, I would have been in my own multiverse. It was one of the craziest experiences sober I've ever had in my life.
It was. I think calling it an experience is an absolutely appropriate thing to say. It was a true experience of a cinematic experience like nothing I've ever experienced in my life.
It felt like we saw it in IMAX. It felt like we saw it in Kaleidoscope.
Yeah. It felt like we were wearing 3D glasses even though we weren't.
There was such an evolution of everything that was happening with all of the animation styles and the storylines that it felt like if MC Escher was a movie.
Right. But that you were required to drop acid before you watch it.
Yeah, but even if you did, bro, if we had dropped acid, we'd be dead.
Yeah, it would have been too much. Our bodies would have been like, this is just too much, man.
Brains are like, see you later. But it was so interesting from the beginning the movie started.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing about it was, I feel like to a lot of people, they saw it that didn't even see the first one. And it felt like,
right, which is kind of crazy to me.
I don't know how they were going to blow the balls off the first one, but balls are off.
Yeah, that first one was innovative and groundbreaking in ways that in animation and it was also a great movie, not just in animation.
It really was though the lube to get you into this one.
This was a whole novel level.
Yeah.
This was an order of magnitude more inventive, more original. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, who's to say like what the best is? Because that's so personal, right? So I'm not going to say this is the best animated movie ever, but you can argue that if someone were to say it's my favorite animated movie ever, I go, of course,
yeah, of
course, it is the best one maybe as far as creativity and originality.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you really did need the first one to prepare you. I wouldn't have gone into this one raw dogging without sort of the knowledge of what was going to happen, because there was at one point, it was such a sensory overload.
Yeah, I mean, we went with my wife, and she's sensitive to certain sensory overload things like that. Like when we go to amusement parks and we do like simulation rides, it's hard for her. She gets kind of nauseous. It kind of takes her out. It wipes her out. And this movie was like that. She said she felt like 30 minutes in, she was on a simulation ride. She did not have a great experience. So actually, caveat emptor. Did I say that right?
If you did in the comment section, we'll let us know.
Yeah, for real. How dare you, sir?
Yeah. Trolls, sound off from under the bridge.
Yeah, Latin experts. I should have said Greek experts. It just really pissed them off.
Yeah.
But if you are sensitive to things like that, that actually you may want to sit this one out. That it might be too much. It was too much for me. It really was at times.
Remember when those anime cartoons were giving kids seizures?
Well, they still do. Anytime there's a strobe in a movie nowadays, they have a warning.
They have a warning at the front.
Yeah.
We did not have that as a kid.
Yeah, no, we didn't have that. We had to find out. Dude, we barely had a peanut allergy as a kid.
There wasn't any. The kids just died.
We had to lose a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Before we're like, wait, what are all these kids eating? Well, they do love peanut butter sandwiches. Yeah, but the other kids do too.
Yeah, the peanut wars of the 80s.
Yeah, I remember it well, man.
We lost a lot of good kids.
Yeah.
A lot of good child soldiers.
Dude, everything starts in Atlanta. Peanut wars and Coke wars, you know?
Dude, it's funny enough about the film.
I call it the Coke war, not the Cola war, by the way, because Coke won.
Obviously.
Right.
Come on.
Anyway.
Oh, I thought you were talking about cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit worse south.
Yeah. I prefer Coca-Cola and Coke over Pepsi. That the thing about the Spider-Verse, which was this new one, which was so cool, it felt like if you were just a novice and didn't, I mean, I know your wife very well, a little too well for your liking.
Wait, what?
Is
this why you brought me on?
Yes, we haven't been doing a podcast. It's been me getting the courage up over weeks and weeks and weeks. It's been me sort of conning you over 25 years of friendship.
Well, if I'm going to have my life destroyed, better to get some clicks out of it.
Better, yeah. She's not a comic book fan.
Right.
But that's how unbelievable it is that there's so many Easter eggs in this that apply. I mean, you could hear people audibly in the theater kind of freak out when they would see something.
Well, I don't know if I sent you the video yet. Maybe I didn't. But, you know, all those sites that make those great Easter egg videos, like the video for this one is like 45 minutes long for one of the main sites.
It's amazing.
And yeah, I sat down and watched it after the movie the other day. It's absolutely required companion viewing if you're going to go see this movie.
Well, you just see the film in a whole different light.
Yeah, but to get really sorry, you were making a point about like comic book fans and
that there's something about that. There's sort of a weird divide that I think is happening that we've talked about a lot with comic book movies or stuff that has a canon per se, and that it's like, how can you make it authentic enough to the source material where you get the diehard fans that have supported this for so many years generationally to be on board, but with a watered down enough version that people who are being introduced to the ideas don't feel alienated immediately.
So there are so many projects out there like that, right? Where they're like, how do we appeal to this crowd and this crowd? And they try to find a way to split the difference. And I would say 80% of the time they fail miserably.
Yes.
And then they make no one happy. But it's like, you know, not most recent Marvel, but like the Marvel before was great at doing that. They were part of the 20%. And then so was Pixar, right? They were great at that too, right? Like DreamWorks, they try to throw enough adult, don't go there, girlfriend, like stuff in there for, I guess, people in their 20s and 30s who take their kids. And it's like, it feels like you're pandering to all of us.
Well, they just add
None of us like it.
They add as many A-list celebrities as they possibly can.
Right. That's what they do at the end of those animated movie, all those trailers, right? Is they throw up like all 20 celebrities all at once so that your brain can't really even read it all, but whichever one you know is like, oh, Pete Davidson's in it. I guess I'll go see it, or whatever it is.
Pete Davidson is in the new Transformers movie.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and he was in, wait, what did we just see that he was in?
In Fast X.
Yeah, he was in Fast X.
Pete Davidson just had sex with all the female Transformers. And
he dated them all for a while.
Yeah, in increments. So the thing is that, with this movie, it did an amazing job and a sequel. So I think that there are people that saw this movie that didn't even see the first one, but they're still like, you know what? I heard such good things about it, and that enough of. But I don't think anybody felt like it didn't stay true to the idea of the Spider-Verse itself.
To add to the thing that was really jarring about it is that, so in the first one, you had all these characters from different dimensions coming to visit the main world, right? His world, Miles' world. In this one, Miles gets to experience different dimensions. And so you have different styles of animation that are all interacting with each other. And I realize like part of what makes it jarring for our brain is that they're actually drawn or animated, whatever, at different frames per second. Ratios.
Yeah.
And I think our brains are just like imagine what the first time an audience saw a 3D movie. It probably really messed with their brain.
I was thinking that, I said, I don't know that we could have seen this movie in 3D.
Yeah.
I think that it would have been.
It didn't come out in 3D.
No, of course, we would have seen it.
Right.
We wouldn't be here today. We'd be dead. They died the way they lived, seeing 3D spiders. Doing what we loved. Did you ever see the movie, by the way, Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner?
No.
Oh my God. It was before Arachnophobia. Sorry to go off on Tangent City. but it was before the movie Arachnophobia, which is with John Goodman and Jeff Daniels.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
love
one of
that
your
movie.
favorite movies.
Yeah,
I know.
it's great.
Yeah, I feel like you were one of the people that introduced me to that movie.
That movie, when I saw it when I was a child, is what made me learn that my dad has a huge fear of spiders, because it was hard for him to watch that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was kind of freaking out the whole time, and he's a cool customer.
But remember the spider in Arachnophobia? It's like only this big.
Right.
At the end, it's like this grown man is running from something, like a 50th of the size of Leprechaun or Chucky.
Yeah.
And it's somehow like, oh no. But Kingdom of the Spiders.
And it's not that fast.
No, it feels like it has like clubfoot or something. Or 8 of them. I just sort of like, it's drunk. But remember at the end there's the bookshelf that like falls over and he's like, ah, and it's like, this spider has the strength of Spider-Man. How is this happening?
Right.
But anyway, John Goodman, by the way, the best part of the movie as the exterminator.
You know what movie he's the best part in?
Like, every movie?
Every movie he does.
Oh, dude.
He's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah. Sorry,
so,
go on, yeah.
Kingdom of the Spiders, are you looking?
Yeah. I'm watching the trailer for it right now.
William Shatner, they're all tarantulas. And there's this one scene where this guy is trying to, it's a city that's been overtaken by tarantulas. Uh-huh. And they're man-eating, obviously. And there's the scene where this guy is flying away, trying to get a friend to fly. Yeah, it's a little cringy. And they all just sort of come in on him. And then it cuts to him sort of afterwards. And it's like the fakest wax sculpture rubber face of his mask. It is pretty ridiculous and really worth your time.
So the thing I was
yeah. So there's a famous scene from it where this really heavyset guy is sort of wrapped up in a web cocoon, and there's these spiders on him, and he really looks like Baron Harkonnen from Dune, or every mayor in a movie, right? The guy who refused to shut the beaches down in Jaws.
Yeah,
that's what these guys looked like. But it's so funny, like. I think that I wanted to know who the tarantula wrangler was.
Yeah.
In that movie.
He's like, now's my time. Yeah, he was pushed. This was his script. He was the writer. He's like, it's the only way I'll ever get work.
He was the writer. He was the director.
Yeah. He's like, you got to make your own work in this.
He was the mayor.
But the thing I was laughing at just now while you were talking in the trailer is that they had a shot of Shatner covered in spiders, and he was going up the stairs, and his reaction was the most Shatner reaction. He was like, ugh, to the spiders covered in him.
William Shatner got his acting technique from every film noir poster.
Right.
He's just like, I can't believe how many legs they have. You would love it, though.
It looks great.
It is a great film. Anyway, but back to the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
That was William Shatner's Spider-Verse. In his Spider-Verse,
it is, yeah.
They're man-eating.
But yeah, so that's what was so jarring we were talking about, seeing 3D, or the first audience ever that, remember it was a train and they all ran out of the theater.
They thought it was coming at them. You actually, they put their hands up as if this blocks a train.
Yeah. It's like, that was proof in real life that no, it was some old 20s movie. It was
I'm kidding. I'm saying like, who could have stopped a train like this?
Sorry. Yeah. My bad.
No, you're right. They didn't know. It was amazing.
Right. It goes to show that they don't have good survival instincts. That's what they're going to do.
Let's wait and see how this plays out. But it was so stimulating, but it was cool because it saw the perspective of so many different things in a way that it didn't feel pandering.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah.
That, Miles Morales, and obviously it did so well, they just announced that they're going to do a live action Miles Morales, which, I hope it does well, but I can't, live action that does that well would be unbelievable. Right. But there was all these Easter eggs in it. So anyway, not to get off too far on a tangent, but it's just, the fact that it was Gwen, it was her story too. And it felt like they did such a good job of giving everybody equal time without being pandering.
Right. Right. Like they did her story too. And somehow they got away with not having to use the word herstory.
Yeah. Mm. It's a she spider.
It's her turn now.
Yeah. But she is in pink.
Yeah. That's okay. Hey, it looks good, man.
You know what her catchphrase was? Huh. 8 in the pink.
She's pretty hot, man. She's a real web slinger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, underage. What?
Web slinger.
No, I know, but you're like, she's pretty hot.
How old is she? No, she's like 20. She's 20.
Is she in college?
Yeah, easily. Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. She's older.
Cops just bust in.
Wait, she's older than Miles, right? So she's
He's still in high school.
Yeah, he's still in high school, and she's older than him. So, yeah. And they've been gone for like a year.
We're working on this for court.
Look, what plays? Can we get, can the guy in the booth pull up her
birth certificate?
No, but she's definitely a few years older because that's part of it.
Yeah. And then there's going to be a third one.
I can't wait, man.
Can't wait, dude.
Can't wait.
You're going to see it again, and tomorrow night
probably.
And the craziest thing is that summer movies are so big that you get 1 week now to be in IMAX, and then something else is pushing you out. Like Transformers is going to be there this Friday,
right? And what sucks is like, what if Transformers sucks, and then what if Transformers sucks, and then like they're out of IMAX anyway the following week because of it. And then,
but they are because
they are because it might be Indiana Jones.
It is Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Well, do you think that there are people out there that are like us that have to go see a movie in IMAX?
Absolutely.
You think so?
I think that's why those theaters are always full on that first weekend. That's why it's always hardest to get the ticket.
Right. Or that there's less. Like, dude, if you look up the movie times for Spider-Verse and other movies, I mean, they're like 25 to 30 a day.
Yeah, but there's
4 for IMAX.
It's something like that. Because a friend of mine is like, I'm going to wait. He's excited about it. He has kids. He's not going to get a chance to watch it until it gets on TV. And I said to him, I go, I mean, your kids are a little too young, but it's like, see if you can just sneak away to see it, because something like that. I mean, Indiana Jones, and we will see it in IMAX or whatever, but it's like Indiana Jones, I feel like we could watch that on a regular screen,
right?
And it won't really deter from what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Transformers, though, definitely.
Yeah, it is a shame because like this definitely needs to be seen. And I mean, I think you should go see this in whatever the best possible way is. I've even convinced a couple people that I asked about going to see it, and they're like not really Marvel fans, not really. And I'm like,
I'm prone to seizures.
Like if you're
no, see it. It's worth it.
You'll be fine. It's worth it.
It's worth it. It's worth it. That's the review.
I'm like, no, but if you're like a true, if you're a true film aficionado, like you should go see this.
You know how they used to interview people when they came out of a theater? Like, what did you think of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? Yeah. If they just had people in the back of ambulances, people who had seizures, go, I'd see it again.
Right. But after this, people are gonna, they'll look like they look like they saw the Ark of the Covenant from the first one.
We fit that into every episode, by the way.
That's gonna be my thing. That's gonna be my little.
Your GIF.
Slip it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So summer's here officially.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's so funny because I think about this every time I'm going to go home, is that I know you went to summer camp. Did you go to a sleepaway camp?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did a couple of different ones. One when I was like when I was a really little kid, when I was like 6 or 7, and then one when I was like a few years later.
That's like the big regret of my life, is that I never went to sleepaway camp.
Oh, dude, some of the best memories of my life.
I've seen Friday the 13th. I can tell.
Yeah.
But isn't that amazing? Like that is such a thing that doesn't. I mean, it exists, but it wasn't as prevalent. I feel like back in the day, I feel like I was the outsider. I was the sneetch. Who was a starbelly. Like I didn't go to camp.
Yeah.
And I was a counselor at JCC sports camp. And that was one of the most fond.
Now, was that sleepaway?
No.
That was just like a day camp.
It was a day camp. And I still remember the campers that I had. And there was a little guy named Zell. And he's got to be like 30 now. But
isn't that so funny?
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. But so this kid was so funny. He was like a little Pixar character. And he was a little chubber, and he was always out of breath. And he would always come to me, the sweetest kid, but always when there was somebody who was breaking the rules. So he would come up to me and he would go, Mr. Guy, this is happening with the ball over there. When it was supposed to be my turn. And then he said, no, I'm going to take 2 turns. And he's like, I thought we were doing 2 turns. But then I said, well, listen, that's how it works. And he said, well, that's how it's going to work from now. Like that's how all of his stuff was. And he was so sweet. I'd have to go over and be like, I believe you, buddy. Come on, let's go.
He had great breath support, considering he clearly had asthma.
He waited for all that. I'm like, why are you walking over here so slowly? He's like, I'm saving up. I'm saving up. Yeah, he just sounded like a balloon that was like being like letting go. But they were such sweet kids. And like I remember that we had an incredible time because we would go to we went to baseball games, and it was really like one of the most fond memories I have of growing up. Like, I think I was like 18 years old or whatever as a camp counselor.
Very cool.
Did you ever? You would be such a good camp counselor.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. No, I was a counselor. Yeah.
Oh, you
fun.
were.
Yeah.
Were you a counselor at the camps that you went to?
Yeah, dude.
I feel like was super
what was fun
common.
Is I had done when I was a camper there, I had actually become kind of famous for doing a rap about the camp.
Was your rap name Dynamic S?
Yeah. It was.
No, I know.
Yeah. So I'd become kind of famous for that. So then when I became a counselor.
How would I have just guessed that?
No. But yeah, that was from that. Yeah. That was my rap name as a kid was Dynamic S. And yeah, and I wrote a rap about the camp and like a lot of kids knew it and stuff. And so when I was a counselor there, a lot of the campers.
Used to be available on vinyl.
Yeah. A lot of kids yeah, exactly. No, actually, what's funny is I used Whoomp There It Is because it had just come out that summer and I had the cassette and that's what we used. Luckily, it had the instrumental version on the back. And we use that as the background music. Yeah,
did you go to Jew camp?
Yeah, it was Jew camp.
Yeah, that's so fun.
And so, what was cool is that when I was a counselor, that a lot of the counselors there that summer, they were campers that when I was a camper, and like I never knew them because it was a huge camp, and they're like, dude, oh wait a minute, you're the dude who did the rap.
I remember I came home because I went to day camps my whole youth, and I remember I came home one time and I was telling my parents about my favorite counselor that I had, and I was like, oh yeah, his nickname for me is Stud, and my parents were like, what? He's calling the 7-year-old Stud? That was the only time I ever remember my dad having like a Tim Allen moment where he was like, yeah, that was very weird for them.
That's funny.
He was so cool. He was, I totally let him touch me. No. He's
cool.
Dude, he could do a backflip. He knew what we were impressed by.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Very cool guy.
Backflips are cool, man.
Man. Backflips are cool, man. Couple things we want to get to before the big thing. There was a man who used a Nintendo duck hunt gun.
You have to really pronounce that, by the way.
Yeah, duck hunt gun to rob a store. Which I guess, here's the funny thing about that, or weird thing about that. Funny thing about that. Those guns don't look real.
Well, unfortunately, it was a comic book store, so the guy running it was like a total 80s vintage nerd.
No, he had one too. He's like, draw.
Yeah, and it was straight out of Hogan's Alley.
Yeah, and the dog behind him was just like, So this gun, he painted it black, and it still had the orange trigger.
Right.
But, I mean, weirdly enough, and it's been a while since I've owned a gun. I can't think of a modern gun. I mean,
it's a sleek looking gun. Like that looks like a gun out of a Bond movie.
Yeah, or Tron.
Yeah, Tron gun.
Yeah, or Duck Hunt.
Or a Nintendo game. I mean, it definitely, but it also has an 80s sort of sleekness.
Well, the guy who robbed it, he looks like a character from Dragon Ball Z, especially in the orange jumpsuit.
He's pretty. I wasn't sure that was a dude actually. Like the dude's pretty. He's kind of hot, man. If you told me that was a chick, I don't know. I'd be like, what's a pretty thing like that needing to do in rob a store?
We'll give you something.
Yeah, here.
They have purple hair.
Yeah,
but supposedly he was wearing a wig. That's what they said. But hold on. But he doesn't have a wig in his head.
Oh, he was wearing a wig.
Yeah, but that can't be it because in the photo they have, that's his mugshot. You'd think they would have taken the wig off for the mugshot. This isn't like a photo booth at a bar mitzvah.
Right.
Where they're like, do you want to wear those big glasses too and that inflatable keytar?
Yeah. They're like, no. How you were caught at the scene of the crime is how you're going to be
You are going to cosplay as a duck hunt robber.
Dude, he's wearing the jumpsuit matches the trigger.
That's what I'm saying.
Amazing.
Like, it looks so, but he wasn't wearing that. That's clearly his mugshot.
I mean, what if he was robbing a gun store so that he could get a real gun to then rob something like really valuable?
Yeah, convenience store. But I feel like this guy has never seen a gun before.
No.
He might as well have like blackened a hairdryer. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to blow you away. All right, pal.
Sir.
You're in jail for that joke.
Sir, I'm going to give you an option here because you're obviously not going to shoot me. I'm going to either call the cops or I'm just going to ask you to leave.
I'm going to get out of here.
All right, very good. See, it could have ended like that.
Well, that's what I mean. How did he? The funniest thing is that some guy looked. I mean, listen. I guess if anybody points anything at you, I've never owned a convenience store. Maybe the guy was freaked out. I don't know at what distance or how good the guy's vision is. But to see that gun and to go, I would go, hey, this looks oddly familiar. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
where have I? Gosh. Yeah, where have I seen that?
His ringtone is just the theme for Duck Hunt, and he's like, shit, let me turn that off. But Nintendo was like making a gun, and they were like, we don't want anyone to think this is real.
Yeah, like I wonder if exactly, like I mean,
Because, by the way, there are other. Remember when they had those Super Soaker Uzis, or that shot like the colored water?
Yeah,
it's like those.
They still have Super Soakers.
No, but now they look like something out of Super Troopers. They have like the bubble on top. You know what I mean?
Right.
But they had ones that were. I can't remember what's the paint called. There was guns that like shot not paint, but they shot like colored water. And they were like they were something like paint Uzis. Those things looked more like guns.
Yeah, I wonder. It's interesting to think that, like, especially now in this day and age, that when toy gun manufacturers make guns, they're like, this can't. Like back in the day, it was probably a good thing if it looked real.
That's what they were going for.
Yeah, they're like, kids will love it. It looks so freaking real. Yeah. And nowadays they're like, this looks way too real. We have to cartoon it up a little bit.
Oh, which is why I think the Super Soaker went the way of the cartoon.
Yeah,
it looks like something.
That's the sad thing. Sorry, is that back is like if this guy wanted to get a crappy gun that looked real, the 80s toys were full of those. He should have used anything but the Duck Hunt gun.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, he had to paint it because it's gray. Obviously, the gun is gray as itself.
Yeah,
he
gray and
painted
orange.
it. Yeah, he painted it black. But the thing
did he just run out of black paint to do the trigger? Was he robbing a paint store? He's like, look, I don't need a lot. I just need like, what's the smallest amount of paint that you have?
You know what this shows me is he has no friends.
Yeah.
Because somebody would have been like, that looks like a Duck Hunt gun, right? Like he just left the house like that. And the fact I
love that that's what his friends would say. Not, dude, don't rob a liquor store. Don't rob a place.
No, they would, dude. He's clearly going to do it. He took the time to ruin. By the way, he had to go on eBay.
Yeah.
He's like, realistic looking gun, Duck Hunt, got it. And he's
done, check.
Wait a minute, I just got outbid. He's got to start all over again. He's got to go. He goes, I just got outbid on paint. And then he realized he thought he was buying a bucket, came like this, didn't have enough to paint the trigger.
And he's like, this is almost becoming more trouble than it's worth.
What guy looks at that and didn't realize that there's no cover for the trigger?
But I love that you were saying he has no friend, like, because that's what a real friend would do, is to say that. But so he obviously doesn't have real friends. Right. But then he doesn't even have a casual friend to be like, dude, don't leave the house with that thing.
He didn't take an Uber there. The Uber driver's like, you're not going to rob somebody with that, are you?
Please, my friend.
My friend.
Please. Don't do this.
But he definitely looks like a comic book character that gets caught with a fake gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Al Pacino is the father again at 83.
Amazing.
Yeah. And 29-year-old, I mean, bro.
So wait, there's got to be. So he was 54 when she was born. So so he's definitely old enough to be the grandpa.
Yeah. And are they going to get changing tables? Babysitter hired for. I need you to.
I'm going to need you.
I just hoo-ah in my pants. Hoo-ah! But congratulations, Al Pacino.
Yeah. Seriously, what's your opinion on like big gaps of dating?
I mean, God bless him, dude.
I mean, we hope so.
And God bless me. And God bless America.
I mean, God bless him that he's like around long enough to see his kids bris.
Listen.
Obviously, his kid's not getting a bris.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know Al Pacino just became Jewish? I don't know. Yeah. Just kidding.
Don't touch that kid's ravioli.
That's mine.
You don't touch that. What?
I'm gonna cut it myself.
I'm gonna take that little angel hair. That's what he calls the pubes, the baby pubes.
But he. I mean, that is a big concern. That, I mean, we are now getting into ethical territory far more than just like, is there something unethical and gross about a big age gap? It's more like, is it unethical to bring a kid into this world knowing that you may very well not see, like, they may not remember you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, listen, if he's a good father.
But how long can he be a good father? But that's what I'm saying is he can't necessarily commit to being a good father for the amount of time that someone deserves a good father.
For sure. But there's plenty of people that have kids where their fathers leave. Or that, and
but
you know,
they didn't know.
Not to get morbid, but in terms of there's people who get killed, or obviously unintentionally, but it's in the armed services, that it's like you're putting your life, or police officers. There's people that are putting their lives on the line, and so
So the question is like, but there's at least an ethical side to saying, well, yes, but I'm doing a service for my country, kind of thing, as opposed to you're just fighting the mortality rate.
Maybe he's got great genes.
I mean, yeah, hey, I mean, obviously, he's 83.
Maybe his dad is still alive.
Maybe. His dad just had a kid.
Yeah, my dad had me when he was 92. That guy's still alive. Yeah. He's got great genes and great chinos.
Who's the
Al
oldest?
Pacinos.
Oh, man. Who's like the only friend I can think of who had an older dad, like older dad, is our buddy Charlie, right? His dad was 60 when he was born.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? And he just passed, I think, like a year ago, maybe, or a year or two. Oh, he made it to 100.
God bless him.
Yeah.
So Al Pacino is 83. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But I think about the technology that's around today. There's so many things that can extend someone's life.
Absolutely. But we're essentially saying that not essentially, he needs to make it to 101 so that he can see his kid's high school graduation.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
If his kid goes to school.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an older.
This kid better be a genius.
We're going to homeschool the little sucker.
I'm around this kid all the time. The babysitter has him in a giant papoose, and then Pacino has the baby in a papoose.
His first word's going to be,
hooah!
Hooah! Hooah!
Yeah. His first word is, and you see the babysitter? She got a great ass. Baby Pacino. That's what his name is going to be, Lil Pacino.
Lil Pacino.
But the girl that is going to be the mother also dated Mick Jagger.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she has a thing.
Just recently or
for
like
older guys.
20 years ago?
When she was 9.
Yeah. Yeah. Big. Wait, how old is Mick Jagger now? Yeah, he's a dude. You know what? That new show that Schwarzenegger's on.
Yeah, Fubar.
Yeah. Do you know how old he is?
72.
75, man.
75. Damn, he looks good.
Dude, he's amazing. That guy's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So it's Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
And
speaking of hot dudes.
Speaking of guys that I'm hard on, that there was something that there was an article that was printed about how there were a lot of critics that blasted Disney for allowing a mustachioed employee to wear a dress and makeup at Disneyland.
Right. Do we know, was the employee like was it a dude who was like cast as one of the princesses, or was it just like a character-y character?
No, he didn't look like anybody specific.
Right.
And
we're trying to think of a joke right now. We can't. I can see your brain.
Well,
I'm trying to think of a joke.
I was thinking, no joke, where he was in the photo. Uh-huh. He was outside a store.
Okay.
And he wasn't Cinderfella.
Right.
You know, the Jerry Lewis movie.
Bro White.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he wasn't, who is that?
He looks like Mario in drag a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean.
The Maria brothers. Or sisters.
Or sisters.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Oh, yeah, it could just be like in the Fantasyland area and he works in one of the stores.
I think that's what it is.
Right.
And
is he wearing a dress too, or just makeup?
Yeah, he's wearing a dress.
Okay.
My opinion on this is let him do this, because essentially since the beginning, the Disney stories are about protagonists that come from a structure and they break free. They're the brave one that breaks free of tradition.
They don't want the life that's already carved out for themselves.
Right.
They want to break out of it.
And they've been inspiring people to do that since the beginning.
Yeah.
And so and if you look back on everything that sort of has happened, all of the stories, most of them, like in this version, the people in Florida.
Oh, he's the fairy godmother.
Yeah.
Well.
But the
joke writes itself right there.
Yeah. Yeah. The people in Florida are the townspeople. They're the bad people.
Oh, they're definitely the pitchfork, torch townsfolk from Beauty and the Beast.
In this story. Yeah, in any story.
Right.
And you think about how inspirational these stories have been for so many people and what the journeys have been, because that is a universal theme in Disney. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It isn't like one thing that this guy did. It's like he was probably inspired by that. And so to have people be critical of that, because it's weird that people love to take a very conservative stance on Disney, but that's not really what those stories are about.
Right. I mean, and Disney used to be comparatively like even more conservative compared to themselves, right?
Walt Disney was anti-Semite.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is but
and then he realized if he wanted to make it in this business,
he
better turn that shit around.
No one was going to write that.
Yeah. Certainly not a lot of jokes.
Mickey Mouse was a Jew. And old.
What if Mickey was just originally supposed to be just a horrible Jewish stereotype?
Wait, it's just a caricature, right? It's Nazi propaganda. And he's like, oh, what is that? It's a mouse.
I get, like kids are really liking it.
Hitler, they fell. Okay, Hitler just shot himself in the face. You have a lot of these posters up in your office. We've got to do something.
It's over, man. We need an image change immediately.
And I think.
No, but weren't you telling me like there was some policy like back in the day at Disney?
Oh yeah, my father, who, if you've ever seen him on my social media, he has always had incredibly long hair. He has a huge beard and huge mustache.
Your father is like the sorcerer from Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Absolutely, right. He looks like the sorcerer. He looks like Merlin. He looks like Moses or Poseidon. Mm-hmm. And he said
he's not that ripped, but okay.
I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know what his diet is, but he said that there was an old policy that Disney had where if as a man, you couldn't have your hair touching your shoulder. It couldn't be that long, or they wouldn't allow you in the park in the 60s. And up until 2000, people that worked at Disney weren't even allowed to have mustaches.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And you couldn't have any visible tattoos. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I can't remember exactly what it was. And women had to wear pantyhose. There was all these, like, they wanted it to look incredibly clean. Men couldn't wear toupees. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was all these, like, laws that were in place. And my father said so he'll never support Disney. I mean, there's a million reasons my father won't support Disney. Mm-hmm. But that was a big one. And so the thing is, it's such a conservative thing. But over time, it's sort of learned to follow the example of the characters that it's created. Mm-hmm. It's learned from itself.
Yeah.
And then so you see all these people, specifically, I think, Florida is like the easy target to sort of point the finger at, but it's all these.
Fun too.
Yeah. Yeah. A big, fuck off. A big white gloved finger because Ron DeSantis got married at Disney World.
Right. Yeah. He and his wife got married there.
Yeah. And there is, oh yeah, it was 2010 that females granted the right to have bare legs. It was amazing. Think about how recently that is.
I was trying to think of Disney characters with mustaches that like
they're all villains.
They're all villains.
Yeah, well, but the crazy thing, or there is Merlin from Sword in the Stone, or from Little Mermaid, her father, Trident or Poseidon.
Triton.
Yeah. Who is Poseidon? It just, or Neptune. Callback from the earlier joke. That it's weird though that they have that sort of like that this is clean and good and everything else is sort of evil.
Yeah.
And it's because there is sort of for all the beauty and magic that is Disney World and the brand and the land and everything, there's a lot of darkness that's underneath it all.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. I love that, man. The dark side of Disney.
I think that's the most interesting shit. There was a movie that came out in 2013 that I actually saw in the theaters. It was called Escape from Tomorrow.
Yeah, and dude, I'd never heard of this until you mentioned it to me. This is crazy.
And this guy, incredible film, if you have a chance to see it. It's just an interesting idea about sort of the underlying muck and evil that is Disney. And they filmed it in Disney World. And Disney had no idea. And I'm not sure what the legal ramifications were to follow, but it's about a family that goes on vacation, and the guy starts to sort of he separates from his family. I won't give away too much.
You're saying the dad of the family.
Dad. Sorry, it's a mom and a dad, and it's Disneyland. There can't be two dads, or Disney World. And I told you. Well, we'll get to that in a second. But they split apart, and the dad starts following these two French young girls around the park like a creeper.
But he gets some bad news that he got fired.
Oh yeah, he got fired. And so he wants to separate from his family, and so he sort of follows them, and he has sort of acid trips while he's on the rides.
Yeah, this bad news and that combined with the fact that he's at Disney World just sends him into this psychotic tailspin.
Yeah.
Where he starts having hallucinations and
The whole thing is in black and white. Mm-hmm. It's very cool. I recommend you check it out. But I think that the reason it was so popular to me is because the brand itself presents itself as such a squeaky clean thing when we all know that there's all these terrible things that have happened behind closed doors.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people have died there. Not a lot. A lot of people.
A lot of people. Not enough. On Ron DeSantis' watch, a lot of people died. Okay? Excuse me.
But yeah, there was a kid that was killed in a mob war that was in a parking lot.
So they had a club in the 80s called Videopolis because Knott's Berry Farm had a club, I think it was Club K, and then Magic Mountain had a club that was Cloud Club or something, a nightclub which we had in Illinois. It was a nightclub exclusively for kids because Disney was bombing in the early 80s. They were sort of going under. There was almost a hostile takeover, and they appointed Michael Eisner as the new CEO. And so one of his big changes was to sort of make a middle ground between the kids and between the parents. Like, what could we do for teenagers and whatnot? And so he created, Cloud9 and Studio K. He created Videopolis. And there was a gang fight that broke out in the parking lot one night between like almost 30 people. A kid got shot, and then another kid who was hit with a stray bullet, and he died.
Amazing.
And it's crazy to go back and see this footage I can't imagine going to a nightclub at Disney. That just seems like the lamest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, they said that the main reason it existed so that the kids could fuck in the bathrooms.
Right. But I was going to say, like, if you're a teenager and you're on this stupid family trip with your family that like clearly you're at Disneyland because of your little brother and your little sister.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure.
No, but it was a lot of locals.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot of locals. But that's such a weird.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing. So anyway, there was two men who were dancing together and they were thrown out of the park because, Disney hates gays. And they said that women could dance together. It didn't
because they're into lesbians,
right? Well, not gay. Two women dancing is beautiful, not gay. And so they these two guys. I mean, it's like fuck Disney, and they took him to court, and then Disney, that crafty mouse. He said, huh, wait a minute, we don't like gays. He said. That only those two could dance, so that they acknowledged that they were allowed them back in the park, but going forward, gay people were not allowed to dance. It was only that the lawsuit was ridiculous. Those two people.
Wow, it's like it
was called fast dancing.
Oh, that's what they called it.
Yeah, they called two. Yeah, the two guys weren't allowed to fast dance.
Oh my God. It's like the Disney version of Footloose, man.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
but
terrible.
Exclusively for gays.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's the gay Footloose, which if you've seen Footloose, it's pretty gay.
It's pretty gay. Yeah.
In a good way.
But also,
Footloose.
Why would Disney, I mean, I feel like drag queens dress up as like Disney is supported by the gay community.
Yeah,
I mean, it's supported by a lot of people, but
but this was back in the day. Obviously now they're
I'm talking about what the guy that they're saying can't be dressed like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, wait a minute. Was
not
that
Disney? It was just the critics of.
Right. It's just the critics of. Yeah. Because they're letting him dress like that, right?
I mean,
they didn't.
They should. So they had they had a policy. Oh, so anyway, the court case led to in 1985 where they reversed the policy of same sex now getting able to dance.
What's amazing is that they actually had that policy in the books. Like it was so homophobic that they were like, wait a minute, we need to put this in like officially so that
they had everything. That's what's so crazy about Disney is they had all these policies in place. I mean, Walt Disney was a pretty weird dude. Yeah. He employed the guy. He employed two former Nazis to help him build things. I mean, and by the way,
that sounds pretty American.
This was right after. He poached them from NASA.
Yeah, he's like, all right, you guys already made the bomb. Now who wants to make some great cartoons?
I'm looking to build a fourth Reich, the Reichiest place on earth. Huh? Yeah, Mickey Mouse is originally like that.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Come on in, everyone.
The old mouse trap.
The old mouse trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jews, you go over
here. Was that
here.
your dad that had said that?
No, that was one of, I don't remember who said it, but that's one of my favorite phrases, that Disneyland was the greatest trap that a mouse ever built for a man. I mean, yeah, it was genius.
Love that.
But it's crazy because like what's happening with the Little Mermaid, which you saw. I'm probably going to see it this week.
Yeah.
That people are so up in arms about it, about how it's not the traditional way.
Right.
And all the traditional, the story that Disney wrote is not the original story.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
She's translucent.
Well, it's something that probably a lot of these people have not heard of called a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's amazing that it's not that now people are like the Black Little Mermaid or whatever, that it's like that would be a reason to not see it wasn't like this other thing. It's like things are getting updated. It's
also a mythical creature. So to claim that,
that's what I mean.
Right. To claim that a mythical creature, but like you were saying, it's translucent in the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sebastian the Crab is Jamaican.
I think that
for some reason, by the way, they're in France.
Yeah, no, not in this one.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, you'll see.
But initially, I'm saying like,
spoiler
alert.
Yeah, no, it's meant to be like a Caribbean country that Eric is part of the.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's in Wakanda. Yeah, that's what it makes sense.
That's how they tie it in. It's all part of the same.
That's how she swims. Yeah, no, it's Disney and Marvel. He bought it. He's like Wakanda forever. Wakanda
They're doing that with their fins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. Like every one of King Triton's daughters, each one of Triton's daughters is a different race in the movie.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's fine. It's like I think like you and I we get into like a lot of conversations about films about like when the difference between when it's shoehorned and when it's not, right? And I think that like a lot of people, it's really messy, and a lot of people will make the claim that the reason why they don't like it is because it feels shoehorned.
Right.
But then you get underneath the hood and it really is just racism.
Yeah.
But because someone can always make the claim, no, I don't like it when it's shoehorned. It's like, look, anything gay in in media at all, people are like, I feel like it's being shoehorned onto me. So like that's the same thing. It's like the only reason it feels shoehorned.
That's what that princess guy was selling, shoehorns.
Right. Yeah, for Cinderella.
Yeah.
But like that's why.
Oh, it'll fit. The shoe will fit.
But that's why I think anything that someone isn't used to is going to feel shoehorned. Anything that's out of the norm will feel shoehorned and will feel uncomfortable.
Now, there are bad examples of it where there is a shoehorn.
Where there's definitely shoehorns.
But from what I've heard, and obviously I trust your opinion, we have pretty similar tastes, you said that it does not feel shoehorned.
Nah, it doesn't to me. It doesn't feel shoehorned at all. Like what feels shoehorned? Oh, some of the recent Marvels, there's definitely some feels shoehorned a little bit.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the one? The Eternals? Felt shoehorned, right?
Yes.
But it was because of like the themes that were hammered so hard, and I don't know.
You lost track. I feel like I just lost track of the story.
Yeah, exactly. That definitely felt like a preachy kind of movie, and like I'm pretty darn progressive, and that felt.
And I'm pretty darn regressive. I think
you can admit.
I think that Ariel should have been translucent.
Yeah, but that's the other funny thing is what you were saying about the original is that like people think that whatever their thing is the original, right? It's like people who are like incredibly patriotic about our country and like don't belong in our country. Yeah, they're like, we're the original. No, you are not the original, bro.
The people complaining they want Ariel to have a MAGA hat on. That's why she has red hair.
It just
make Atlantis great again. Make it great again. Before we had black mermaids, okay?
This King Triton, Sleepy King Triton.
I thought it was Blackfish. We already had that movie. Okay, we had Blackfish. It was already a movie. We don't need to. Today in history, I just want to end with this, was Judy Garland's birthday. It's coming up in 1922. I love Judy Garland. The Wizard of Oz is my favorite movie of all time, and there's so many fascinating things about it. If you ever get a chance, do a deep dive on it. It was the first time that color was used in a major film. So initially they were planning to film the entire thing in black and white, but the invention of colorized film happened in the middle of shooting, and someone said, why don't we make Oz in color? Which is genius because that's not originally.
And seems so necessary.
So that's why they changed it to ruby slippers, because in the book it's silver slippers. Oh, but it's like when she gets there, it's such a bright color. And to have silver, the silver screen, it's already in black and white. What can we do?
Right. It'd be the most bland thing in Oz.
Right, exactly. We got you black and white shoes.
Thanks.
Yeah. And it's amazing because of there was the first time that Munchkins, right? First off, all of the little people, there hadn't really been films for them. They'd only seen each other traditionally in freak shows and things like that. That's where they got jobs. I'm saying in terms of like there wasn't like Little Trains or whatever. I mean, like, it was just like a train movie.
What?
Like a train movie with little people.
Okay.
Like Little Mermaid was just like was just little people as the Little Mermaid.
See now I want to see
this movie.
Now I want to see that movie.
Oh my God.
Bro, do you remember The Littlest Groom? That dating show. There was a dating show in the early 2000s.
It was our favorite, dude.
Yeah, it was an all little person dating show, man.
Anyway, so what they got together was they trashed hotel rooms, the little people. they were the original Led Zeppelin. And
I mean, there are a lot of, bottles in the mini fridge.
Yeah, they went through all of them. And they were just they were sucking down pony keg stands. That little Shetland ponies. So they partied their faces off together. Uh-huh. And it was interesting because like Billy Burke, who played Glinda, she was an alcoholic. So those bubbles she came in were from champagne. But she was drunk supposedly the whole time on set. Mm-hmm. And Buddy Epson, who played the Tin Man, was not supposed to be the original. The original guy, he got sick from the paint.
From the paint, yeah, that's right.
And so, the original and Burt Lahr, who played the lion, it was actual lion hide. So he was sweating his ass off in that thing.
You're going to ruin the movie for my wife now, my vegan wife. She's never going to watch it again.
Oh, I thought you said she hasn't seen it. I won't tell you what happens.
No, it's like one of her favorite movies.
No, I know. Yeah.
I love the Munchkins. And somehow the Munchkins are enjoyable and not creepy.
No, they're awesome.
And somehow the Oompa Loompas are, right?
Well, the Oompa Loompas, you feel like, number one, the Oompa Loompas appear out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And they don't talk to you. They just sing.
Yeah. And they're very preachy.
They sing when someone dies.
Yeah.
That's their function. They're giving a weird eulogy.
Right. They come out and very emotionless sing a song about the person's death and how they shouldn't have died because they did something stupid.
Right. It's a lesson learned. It's like they're just like little Greek chorus fables.
Yeah.
Whereas like
they really are. They're the Greek chorus. Of the movie.
Which is like when you look at Wizard of Oz.
Sorry, Latin court.
Comment section. And the craziest thing about, I guess the sweetest thing is they're like welcoming her to Oz.
Yeah.
Because, and so
she's going to be their savior.
Yeah, she was their savior because the house fell on the witch. Mm-hmm. And spoiler alert. And so the idea that they're presented in such a fun way and there's a sweetness about them and they're adorable.
They are.
Like, there's a real cuteness where it's like the Oompa Loompas, they're in orange paint.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah. That's why can't say that anymore.
Yeah. No, they do. With the orange paint.
Yeah.
And the green hair.
Yeah.
And the dancing and the costumes. Keep it moving, man.
So we just got canceled.
Yeah.
Dude, you're oompist. So
I'm an anti-oompist.
Yeah. So
some of them are good.
Some of them. What are the good ones?
What are the good ones? Where's my Oompa Loompa?
They look like me. They look like me. Look at these beautiful little traffic cones.
Where's my Oompa American? There's my Oompa American.
Make America Oompa again. Is the orange hat? How does he not have an orange hat for that hair? Oompa Loompa Oompity doo. Make America Oompa again. All right, man. I'm Jonathan Kite for Seth Shapiro, for Emmy and Ben. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Peace.